He was building the church itself. And these constructions were going on fast. It's like his dream. Something that can beat the Gothic temples in Europe.
Everybody worked to build this massive structure. TB Joshua was trying to create his own empire. Behind the scenes, you've got a workforce with no pay. We were a machine around him.
Once again, beloved, I greet you and I welcome you to u.s.a Media. My name is Bocha Steven, and you know for sure that whenever I get in my seat here, it's about we dismantling those several assertions that has been made against Christianity since time immemorial. Well, many people claims to be preaching for Christ, and they claim to be following God. And there are many movements around the world. Don't be getting with me. Yes, people claim to be prophets and all that. Though we've been studying a lot over here, and I've been telling you what actually the Bible says about prophets today. Well, to me, I always tell you that all these ones that are claiming to be prophets are charlatans. They are con artists, religious imposters, flim-flam men, and all the well. And yes, the Bible actually says that all what we want to know about God, all what we want to hear from God, we have to get into the Bible, because that's the reason we have in the Bible, because God is not going to personally speak to anybody again. If you want to hear anything from God, if you want to get any advice from God, any child, you have to get into the Bible today. Of this time, bro, not be get to me. So it's written in Galatians 1 verse number 8 and 9 that Paul, the apostle, said that if even an angel comes from heaven or descend from heaven telling you that God has sent me to deliver this kind of message to you or blah blah blah, you should know for sure that that person is, that so-called angel is under a curse. Okay, if it isn't an angel but a person coming to you telling you I'm a prophet, fancy what Muhammad of Islam sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, that Jibril had appeared to him and surely had given him a message to convey to the world. Let me get to him. So going by what actually the Bible says, we get to know that he was a false prophet. I'll be get to me, and also those that call themselves prophets today. And we have Bible to buttress all these kind of arguments. And if you don't understand all this, yes, you can come forth and we can arrange a debate between ourselves. And yes, it's going to be something educative on the platform. Well, we actually taking a quick break and we're returning to synagogue, synagogue Church of All Nations, okay? Synagogue Church of All Nations with the abbreviation SCOAN, okay? The church that was established by ex-TB Joshua, the Nigerian ex-prophet. Hope you get to me. So, many stuff has been said about him, and we're returning. Surely we're going to talk about it. May God richly bless you for waiting for us, beloved. Yes, people has several lot of secrets. You understand? There are secrets. Everyone is having a secret. Every person kind, every nation kind, every people kind are having secrets. You understand? Yes, and people has been exposed. Okay, since time immemorial, people has been exposed. Over the century, I'll be get to mean we've ascertained people that we've had news about people that actually took in stuffs and also caused people to do stuffs, in the name of Christianity or in the name of the Bible or in the name of God. And we ascertained for sure that all these were false, and surely people got wind of the fact that they had to desert all these kind of ideologies or all these so-called prophets. And people are still going through these kind of tragedies, and surely we are here to liberate people from all these falsehoods. Well, BBC says they have discovered stuff about the ex-prophet TB Joshua, and surely it's something weird. It's something that is very much cataclysmic, and surely it blows out mind, and we don't want to be putting forth some anecdotal reports that we are going to BBC News. I think this is their blog, okay? BBC News Pigeon. If you can search this on Google, and it's titled TB Joshua documentary. TB Joshua's documentary, and I think on this blog of BBC News, they says that they are with the headline TB Joshua exposed. TB Joshua TB Joshua expose, okay? Nigerian pastor cover up deadly Lagos building collapse. It was posted on 9th January 2024. 9th January 2024. And it goes like, the BBC don't find out, the reporter says, the BBC don't find out new evidence say the late the late Nigerian mega church leader TB Joshua hide dead bodies and intimidate families to cover up him role for the collapse of a building where killed at least 116 people in church for 2014. You see, so according to this reporter, BBC has found out that TB Joshua covered up staffs. Okay, his building killed about 116 people, and he intimidated the families of these people that were victims. Okay, so that they wouldn't expose him or they wouldn't put anything in the air. I'll be getting to me. So perhaps I will do this to you. I'll do that to you if you try to do this or if you try to do that. So BBC has now found out, according to this reporter, that surely he was he did it deliberately. Okay, he did it deliberately for maybe rituals or something like that. I'll be getting to him. So according to the reporter, that's exactly what TB Joshua did while alive. And again, he continued to say, I'm actually giving you little of this information. If you go to the blog, surely you're going to get a lot of information about this. The collapse, now one of the worst disasters to ever strike a place of worship for Africa. So according to the reporter, okay, the BBC News reporter, seriously, or the blogger, such kind of collapse has never ever taken place before. Okay, until that time, this collapse of building or church building took place. It hadn't taken place anywhere in Africa before. So it really means that TB Joshua is the first person to have his church building collapse and to kill 116 people. So according to the reporter, it had never taken place anywhere in Africa before. So he continued to say, BBC investigation, the first time insiders from TB Joshua Synagogue, Church of All Nations, SCOAN, for Lagos don't present evidence of what caused the incident nearly 10 years ago, and of how the pastor allegedly tried to cover up. So the insiders, okay, the adherents, are actually trying their possible best to expose the man. They are trying to actually tell people stuffs or tell people what happened, what transpired while the man was alive. So they've gathered or mastered the courage to let the public ear hear what actually transpired, because the man is deceased. Okay, how do we know it's true, if that is true or it isn't true? Okay, fine, maybe they are speaking with evidence as well. Last one, then I actually show you some videos from the camp of TB Joshua. Okay, those that actually were very closer to him, they say. Okay, allegedly they were very closer to him, and surely they are saying the new stuffs about him, how he molested them, how he tried his possible best to enslave the Westerners or the white people or something like that, all because he felt for his ancestors or something like that. Well, he continues to say, he follow evidence where BBC uncover of widespread abuse and torture by the founder of one of the world's biggest Christian evangelical churches. 2 days after the collapse on 12 December 2014, TB Joshua publicly said they linked to one aircraft where fly over the building where them used to house visiting pilgrims. He continued to say, but one inquiry by a Lagos coroner agree with emergency workers, saying structural failure caused the guest house to collapse, and say them build without proper planning permission. So they're all giving excuses. It says it wasn't built well, it wasn't having a good structure, it wasn't well structured. The meaning perhaps cements were not enough, or the masons or the workers were not professionals or something like that. That is the reason the guest house got collapsed or something like that. So you see, that's exactly what TB Joshua said. He said it was as a result of some aircraft or something like that. And again, he continued to say, eyewitnesses tell BBC say TB Joshua been they warned of serious structural problems before the disaster. Them say the aeroplane explanation a lie. You get that? So watch full BBC 3 parts documentary on TB Joshua for YouTube. Yeah, so I think it's available on YouTube as well. If you get onto the page of the platform of BBC, surely they're going to actually give you a lot of gist about this kind of information. So according to the report, BBC says that it's a lie. It is never true that an aeroplane caused the collapse of the building, and also it wasn't also as a result of some weak workers or some unprofessional masons or unprofessional structure or something like that. Okay, but rather it was a deliberate action that took place. Well, let's watch our first video and we return.
He was building the church itself. In these constructions were going on fast. It's like his dream. Something that can beat the Gothic temples in Europe.
Everybody worked to build this massive structure. TB Joshua was trying to create his own empire. Behind the scenes,
well, beloved, so according to this one, what you watched right now is from an insider. I'll be getting him. She's an adherent, and actually she's expressing herself in how TB Joshua actually treated people or treated them while alive, and his mind or his idea toward whatever he did. I'll be getting to him. So they are actually exposing him. But how do we know of whether or not it is true or it isn't true? Because, and if all these are true, what did you people do while he was alive? Or you feared, you were cowards, and you waited for him to die before you came out to do all these exposés? Well, what next?
you've got a workforce with no pay. We were a machine around him.
Okay, beloved, so according to the first video you watched, that is how TB Joshua misused people. He misused people according to the first video you watched. You see, so people were carrying headpans, not that they were helping the building of his synagogue or church of blah, 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 blah. Okay, they helped its establishment and all that, and the whites were carrying mortars and all that loads on their heads, and all that's all because of what actually you're going to hear as we go on. Well, what next?
He wouldn't have been able to do it without all the disciples. But we did the actual work.
So you see, according to the second video you watched, there were machines around TB Joshua, and she said that they've got a workforce without pay. So they actually were used. They were misused. Okay, they were actually messed around or something like that by TB Joshua. He actually misused them according to her. And this third video also says that we did actual work. Yes, they did actual work. So meaning, were they doing it all because they were having the idea that they were doing it for God? And that's exactly what TB Joshua told them. And they later found out that TB Joshua was just misusing them. Or is it because they've ascertained that BBC is actually spreading some news out there about TB Joshua, that he was this or he was that, he was this, he was that, or something like that? Or are they the ones that actually seek to report their case to BBC? And how did it take place? We are yet to find out. I think there are lot of informations available on the net, and we're actually going to delve deep into it, and surely we're going to give you nice reports over here. And we are trying to avoid anecdotal reports over here. So we're going by just what actually we've seen. What next?
He had a grand plan. Not all disciples knew what was happening. It was a secret.
Okay, so according to this video too, TB Joshua had a grand plan Okay, not all people knew what was happening. It was a secret. So not all people really mean some people knew. So what about what happened to those that knew all these stuffs he was doing? Because you see, there are people around us and are having several lot of secrets, several lot of damaging secrets, okay, around them, and surely if they are coming out, surely that of TB Joshua would be something less. Or because people are doing stuff in hindrance, and surely we know for sure there's going to be the proper time God is actually going to expose everybody. Okay, the light is actually going to be thrown, or is actually going to be spotted on all these secrets, deeds of people. People are having secrets. Okay, people are having secrets, and surely this is actually the time of TB Joshua, and surely he is no longer living. He's deceased, and perhaps his children and his wife are the ones going to be tagged with stuffs, and I think this isn't helpful. Okay, sometimes when things like this happens, people must understand stuffs. Okay, it's you've gotten with the father, not the children. You've gotten with the father, not the wife. Though some of the women are very much aware of what their husbands are doing. But can you believe that these people, sometimes when they're doing stuff, their wives are not even aware? Most of them, okay? I don't want to chip in some logical fallacy over here. I don't want to draw some hasty conclusion over here. That's why I'm saying most of them, okay? Most of them. Out of 100%, you get 80% wives that are supporting their husbands to do stuff that are very weird. And they are not welcomable in the society or the vicinities they are living. I'll be get to me. So it may be so. It may be the wife wasn't aware of all this. It may be the children weren't aware of all this. So I think if you target the father, make sure to be careful with the wife and with the children and all that, unless you have some proof or some evidences that indeed they were also around him and they were aware of whatever he was doing. Well, what next?
He told me personally, when he remembered what these white people did to our forefathers, that it hurt him. That whatever it will take him, he said the whites, that he will bring them here. He will make sure that he will enslave them, that they will serve him.
Okay, so according to this man, he had some close relationship with TB Joshua. Okay, he had some close relationship with TB Joshua. Okay, so sometimes like when people are giving report about people they were actually with, and I always say this on the platform that even an eyewitness account can be disproven. Okay, an eyewitness account can be disproven. You can be showing evidences and all that. You can be showing some evidences or some proofs and all that. But I think proof is something deeper. Okay, I don't normally goes by evidences and all that, but proof is something deeper. I'll be get to me. Yes, to prove that this is what actually he did and it is true. I think we have to maybe we can get stuff like that. I'll be get to me. We can get stuff like that, but just to come on board and be crying and be saying stuff, I was closer to him and blah. All these are not enough proofs. All these are not enough evidences. Okay, they all based on the inductive logic. Okay, I'm not defending TB Joshua. I'm talking as a human being. I'll be get to him, and I'm speaking as maybe a jurist will speak, or a logician will speak. I'll be get to him. Yes, in the Bible, I've already told you of my stand. Yes, I did never consider TB Joshua to be a prophet. I have many programs on Facebook. If you go to Let the World Know on Facebook, that's my platform. About dozens of programs are over there, and surely I never considered ever TB Joshua to be a prophet. I'll be get to him. So I'm only addressing the issue. I'm attacking the issue, not the person over here. I'm attacking the issue, not the personalities over here. I'll be get to him. So I think we have to delve deep into stuff people are putting forth outside there. Don't just say that people are crying and they are saying he did this to me, he did that to me. Yes, we've seen videos over there, and surely in the videos you do not see TB Joshua. Within these videos, you see whites carrying stuff on their heads and all that. Okay, but I think a few of them, most of them, you do not see TB Joshua within, so people can defend. I'll be get to remain. So maybe it's some video and people are taking that video, and surely they want to put it in place of what actually TB Joshua, what actually they are saying about TB Joshua. It can be something like that. I'm not saying what people are saying is not true, and I'm not saying what people are saying is true. Okay, what we see on social media aren't, or whatever we see on social media aren't enough evidence. Okay, they aren't enough evidence. We need proofs. And people are saying BBC has been able to come out with some proofs and all that. Well, that's cool, but I think we have to be very careful. He says, TB Joshua told me personally when he remembered what these white people did to our forefathers, that it hurts him, that whatever it would take him, he said the whites, that he would bring them here. He will make sure that he will enslave them. Okay, so my question is, and what did you tell him when he said this to you? If it was in a meeting, if it was held, it was said in some close social communication, close social meeting or something like that, what did you tell TB Joshua when he said this? Being a Christian, you should have been able to prompt TB Joshua. Hey, that isn't what a Christian should do. Okay, if you are a Christian, you should love all. You shouldn't retaliate. Shouldn't say they did this to me, so I'm going to do this to them in return or something like that. I'll be get to me. What did you inform TB Joshua? Or you were a coward? You feared to utter anything outside there because you thought he was living and he was strong and he had some people that could attack you or something like that. And you saw the whites doing stuffs over there, and surely they were actually signs that TB Joshua was actually enslaving them or misusing them or messing around with their lives or something like that. What did you tell them? What did you tell TB Joshua himself? So sometimes people can be speaking, and yes, we can be yelling with excitement, but most of the times, if you just sitting back to listen them out very well, you get to know some little bit hypocrisy in their tonations. I'll be get with me. I'm not saying what this man is saying is a lie. That isn't what I'm saying. But I'm saying, what did you tell TB Joshua when he said this to you? You said you were very close to TB Joshua in some of your videos I've watched. That's exactly what you said. What did you tell him? And all of you who are crying and all that, he did this to me, he was like an angel, but he was a beast and blah blah blah. What did you do when you thought he was molesting you, when you thought he was enslaving you? What did you do? Did you report this issue to anybody? Okay, I think we heard the case about Osinachi in Wachuku and what her husband did to her, and we had information from her wards, her children, her sons, and all that, her own sister, and all that, and even the preacher. And surely they were saying they knew for sure what actually the husband was doing to the woman. But whenever she confronted her sister about that, she would be like, "I love my husband. Please keep it a secret." And all that. You knowing all this, why didn't you do something to help your sister? Perhaps her mind wasn't on the eye. Okay, she was bewitched by love. I'll be get with me, and surely you knew that wasn't going to help her. What did you do to help her? Sometimes you shouldn't be hypocrite. I'll be get with me. If you encounter anything about somebody and you think it's not going to help, if you prompted the person and you think the person isn't actually putting a stop to it, yes, it's somewhat like you living with unscrupulous people within the community or society or something like that. Surely you can be able to report them, because sometimes when they get caught, you're also going to be arrested because you were there and you watched everything to happen without giving any hint or any clue about them. Well, what next?
I was there in that meeting. He wants to use white people to be his slaves. Westerners, they enslaved his forefathers.
So you see, he says, I was there in that meeting. That is this. You see, the woman is saying, I was there in that meeting. He wanted to use the white people to be his slaves. Westerners, they enslaved his forefathers. So all this might be true. All this might be true. Okay? But what did you do to help? Okay, you could have helped TB Joshua to be saved. Okay, I don't buy that idea, fancy he's dead and people are saying he's gone to heaven, he's going to hell, or blah blah blah. No, that one will leave to God to decide. But sometimes, like, we can judge based on the Bible, based on what the person did. We actually preaching to the world, being Christians, okay? We telling the world, you doing this isn't right, you doing that isn't right. It's somewhat like we are judging. And you understand? It's somewhat like we are judging. We're throwing lights on stuff that people are doing. We're telling people this isn't Christianity, that isn't Christianity. What this person is doing is something charlatans do, or con artists, religious imposters, or flim-flam men does on something. It's somewhat like we are judging. Okay, so if we've ascertained that the person is doing all these stuffs and he or she didn't put a stop to all what he or she was doing, we can sometimes say that yes, if this is exactly what the person did and never repented, seriously, this kind of act is going to take the person to hell, or this kind of act is going to take the person to heaven. This isn't that we are concluding anything for God, no, but rather we base on evidence, we base on the issue at hand to say that okay, if the person did this blah 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 blah, then maybe this is going to be concluded. Somewhat like you lay down your premises and you are concluding out of the premises. Well, what next? Last video and we last two videos and we give conclusion to it.
So he himself now will enslave them. He said it loud and clear.
That was one of the motivation factors in him. He said, Agomo, that's, I will teach them lesson. I will show them.
TB Joshua wanted to write history for himself. He wanted them to serve him.
Well, so according to this one, TB Joshua wanted to write history for himself. He wanted them to serve him. So according to her, TB Joshua had wanted to write history for himself. He wanted to be a person that was able to enslave whites, all in the name of Christianity, or all in the name of prophethood or prophetism or something like that. Okay, well, I think yes, with the idea that the whites enslaved our people and all that. I always say that Africans shouldn't be illiterates that much. Or we get to, like, seriously, excuse my language, but most Africans, most debaters, most Africans that debate this issue, most people that says that the whites enslaved our people and that they are enemies and blah blah blah. Or we get to me. Seriously, most of these Africans do not study very well. Okay, I always ask the question: who sold the black man to the white man? Okay, our own black people sold our own black people to the white man, to the white master. Do you understand? Who are the educational elites? You've been studying history and you know all this. Okay, blacks sold out blacks to the whites. Our ancestors that were taken to the northern part of America, and all these ones were enslaved by their own black people. Okay, they were enslaved by their own black people. Our own black people sold out our own black people, or sold out our ancestors to the whites, to the white masters. That is it. So do not blame the whites that much. Okay, had they not been given the chance by our own black people, they wouldn't be able to had taken our people into slavery. Yes, they killed our people and all that. So sometimes I understand why you may feel appalled. Or we get to me, yes, they did a lot of stuff. They treated our ancestors shabbily and all that. Yes, I understand this, but you should blame your own black people as well. What next?
Look loving, not knowing that behind that was a sadist, a psychopath.
Well, beloved, that is it. So we actually entered into the documentary of TB Joshua. Okay, his own people or his own adherents are saying this after his death. Well, I think sometimes it isn't all that good when the person is dead and you coming back to say something because the person isn't alive. Okay, yes, sometimes like we normally say is that the dead person is the winner. You get that the dead person is the winner, and sometimes we say the dead person is the loser. Do you understand? If he had some practice and all that, and he didn't actually make any will or sign any will and all that, and people are claiming ownership or something like that, people could say he is no longer living to claim the thing for himself or to himself or something like that. Okay, and if he did something to you, and surely you haven't any evidence or something, or even if you have evidence or something like that, he's not there to be arrested. Are you going to arrest his sons and daughters, his wife? And you see, you need to get tangible proofs or tangible evidences that they were part of those kind of actions TB Joshua took while living. If you don't have any of these, please, you have to be very careful. And I'm saying all what we hearing from BBC, all what we hearing from TikTok, all what we hearing from Facebook and all that, we should delve deep into them. We should sit up well on our buttocks to do well our scrutiny. Okay, we have to do well our researches, so we don't present anecdotal reports outside there, or misinformed misinformations outside. That'll be get to me. Yes, or stuff like this carries great burdens with them. If you don't take care, you're actually going to be burdened with something. I'll be get to me. I'm not talking about something spiritual, but you're going to be held responsible for stuff. You're going to put across because he has families. Still living, he has a wife, still living, children still living, and followings that loves him still living. I'll be get to him. So if you coming out with anything, make sure to come out with tangible evidences, tangible proofs. Okay, this is TB Joshua. That is the video. He's doing this, he's burying that person, he's killing that person. Good, we need all these stuff. So if you don't have them, I think it is based on the statistical logic or the inductive logic, and out of 100% we can get some 50% proof or some 50% evidence, and that isn't enough for us to conclude anything over here. Well, beware of false prophets. Yes, he isn't only the false prophet, okay, so to say. He isn't the only he wasn't the only false prophet. Yes, with the idea of him being a false prophet, yes, the Bible doesn't give way to anybody today to be calling themselves prophets. So I'm not basing on what people are saying, but rather the Bible actually doesn't allow him to be a prophet today, or anyone that calls themselves prophets today. Shall we end it up here? Shout out to everybody. Greetings to everybody. May God richly bless you. We meet up here once again some other time. Bye-bye.